Good morning, boys and girls. Today I'm here to go over lesson 14 with you, and we are going to start out with reading chapter 4, A Famous Ship again. This time we're going to do a close read, so I'll stop and I'll ask you questions while I'm reading it. Obviously, you won't be able to answer me, so I will give you the answers, but it's just to build your knowledge of it, work on some fluency, and just, gain a better understanding of the USS Constitution. When I'm done reading this with you, I will go over the worksheets for today. Okay? So, Chapter 4, A Famous Ship. The ship on the right is the USS Constitution. Who remembers what the USS stands for? If we read on, you'll see. It was one of the ships that battled in the War of 1812. The letters USS stand for United States Ship. So that should tell you that probably all of our ships start off with the abbreviation USS, all the ones that are in the military, because they're all United States ships, and then they'll have their name after the abbreviation. Here again is a picture of the USS Constitution. You could see its long masts. The masts are the parts that hold the sails. You could see the United States flag. Okay. The USS Constitution was named for a very important document, the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution lays out the laws of the land. When it says lays out the laws of the land, it means that in it has written down the laws that everyone needs to follow. It tells what we can do as citizens. It tells what the president can do, the Congress could do, the Supreme Court. It just lays it all out for us. It states what people serving in each branch of the U.S. government can do. It says what the president, the Congress, and the Supreme Court can do, and also what they cannot do, which is very important too. Because when you live in countries that are like monarchies and a king and queen, usually they can do whatever they want. It's up to them. They don't have to answer to anyone else. Our government is not a monarchy, and it's designed for the people and by the people, which means you have to go through a lot of different channels, and there's 3 branches of our government. We have the branch that's the president. Macy, can you let the dog out? The Congress and the Supreme Court, and they all have to work together to make our country run smoothly. Okay, so James Madison had helped write the Constitution. He had also played a key role in getting states to accept it. The people of the United States were proud of the Constitution, so they named one of their fighting ships the USS Constitution. So the ship right here was named after our Constitution, the framework of our government, because we were very proud of it. And here we have a painting of the Constitutional Convention where the U.S. Constitution was signed. So all the important people, most of the important people, not all of them, were there, and they signed it. During the War of 1812, the USS Constitution had a string of battles on the high seas. And remember, string of battles means a series of battles. It means more than one. In one battle, the USS Constitution attacked a British ship. It was a hard fight. The sailors on both sides fired cannons. The guns blazed and smoked. The 2 ships drifted closer. Once they even bumped into each other. Cannonballs from the USS Constitution smashed into the side of the British ship. They made big holes in it. They ripped off a sail. They knocked down the ship's masts. The British ship fired back, but its cannonballs did less damage to the U.S. ship. In fact, some of them bounced off the thick walls of the American ship. When the sailors saw this, they cheered. "Hooray!" one of them shouted. "Her sides are made of iron." Was the sides really made of iron, though? Who remembers? If you remember, it wasn't. It got the nickname that had iron in it, but its sides were actually made of wood. That's what we're going to read about next. In fact, however, the sides of the ship were not made of iron, but very thick planks of wood. The wooden sides of the USS Constitution were much thicker than most ships, which is a good thing because it helped it withstand a lot of battles at sea. Here's another painting of it, and here's its masts and the sails. The USS Constitution won the battle. Hooray! The British ship was so smashed up that it could not be fixed. The British had to sink it. And that happened a lot in battles. When your ship did not survive the battle, you couldn't get it to sail back to its port or where you needed it to be, so you had to sink it. When people were told about the battle, they became excited. They yelled and shouted. They waved flags and had parties. They treated sailors on the USS Constitution as heroes, and as they should, because they won a great battle there. They also gave the ship a nickname. They called it Old Ironsides because its wooden sides seemed as strong as iron. And you should know that iron is a very strong building material. A lot of buildings, the frames of buildings are made by iron because it's so strong and holds things up. So that's why they nicknamed it Old Ironsides, even though it was made out of wood. Old Ironsides kept on fighting. It battled more than 20 times and never lost a battle. Awesome. And here we have a picture of it today. We talked about this yesterday, but yes, if you ever go to Boston, Boston is right on the Atlantic, and there's Boston Harbor. You will see the USS Constitution still floating today, and you could visit Old Ironsides. You could take a tour, you could go inside, and just see what it looks like. They have it obviously fixed up, but they tried to keep it as original as possible so that you could see what it was like. It doesn't fight any more battles, but it's there, kind of like a museum for you to see a bit of our history. And with that, tomorrow we will read Chapter 5, The Attack on Washington, D.C., which I asked you yesterday if you remembered what important fancy lady played a key role in the attack on Washington, D.C., and some of you were able to tell me Dolly Madison. So we will read about her tomorrow. Let's flip to our workbook pages. So this is the worksheet that you need to submit today after reading A Famous Ship. You should answer the multiple choice questions on 14.1 and put the page number that you found the answer. It's 2 sides, just 5 multiple choice, pretty easy, and then take a picture and submit it. Then for extra practice, we have some fill in the blanks on 14.2. It says use the best word from the box to complete each sentence. So we have igloo, media, item. Notice we're practicing the tricky I sound. I, E, I. Impossible, chili, chili. This means the cold chili, and this is the chili that you eat. Medium, violin, piano, curious, spaghetti, yum, and a proper noun, India. Okay, so that is a country. So you will read the multiple choice questions onto the back. There's 12, and you will fill in the blank. Then moving on, 14.3 is reading A Famous Ship again. Really good practice for you. If you could, read it to somebody. If not, read it by yourself. It's just practice some fluency. So there's that. And finally, 14.4 is mixed practice. It says, Dear family member, please have your child read aloud all the words in the box. Read aloud all the sentences. Then ask your child to fill in the missing word in each sentence. Remind your child to read the sentences again to make sure the words he or she has written make sense. So again, this is practicing some sounds we've learned. We have pizza, taxi, phone, that's the magic E. E makes the O say O. Polar, dollar, color. There's the bossy R sound. Alphabet, tricky word. Head, 2 vowels go walking. The first one does the talking. Bread, author, thread, and school. Okay, that's CH, that says cup. So you're going to read through numbers 1 through 12 again and put the correct word on the line. Notice the word box is back here too same words. So if you cross out some on the front, make sure you cross them out on the back. This way, when you get to the back, you'll see which words are left. And that's our lesson for today. Don't forget to study your spelling words. Spelling test tomorrow, okay? So 14.1 is the one we submit. Okay, thanks, guys.